What's that? 2022 ain't even over and there's already a PlayStation wrap-up video? Yeah. Yes, there is. Head of the game this time for once. For those that don't have a clue as to what I'm talking about, Sony likes to do these things called year-end wrap-up reports. These year-end wrap-up reports basically contains information about individual players as to how their year had been. Whether it's how many hours they've played, how many trophies they've earned, what games that they played the most hours on, so on and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to go into this, especially knowing how this year has been. So, for those that may not be aware of, there are two possible candidates that I am predicting to have the most hours. And that prediction is going to probably show itself more so in this video. One of them is, of course, the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, because I've been doing a Twitch streaming of those throughout the year and stuff like that. But also, too, there's also the fact that there's also Elden Ring to count into that. I have probably played through at least 3 different characters in its entirety and stuff. And so, waiting for the DLC to come out, which obviously there will be DLC. I'm honestly surprised they haven't announced that yet. But it has gotten an update for the Colosseum fights, which does not surprise me. You know, any Souls game that has had online capability, such as Dark Souls, Bloodborne, is going to have a Colosseum of some form of manner. And Elden Ring is no different. So, naturally, we're going to be looking at this year-end report and see how I've done. So, with that prediction, there's also another prediction that I'm probably going to be thinking of, and that is the amount of trophies. I don't think I've met my goal like I thought I was going to, you know. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be under the amount that I had predicted myself. So if you want to know, we'll look at the last year's report of trophies earned, and then we'll summarize it for this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at it, shall we? Alright then, so we have 4 sections to look at. Total playtime, top games, trophies earned, and PlayStation Plus. Obviously, the PlayStation Plus, we're not going to see any interaction in that area, for obvious reason, because I hadn't really subscribed to PlayStation Plus any this year. Go ahead and take a look and see what all we've got. So, let's first start off with total playtime right here. 810 hours. Interesting. Okay. 810 hours. I don't remember how many hours I played last year. Again, I'll have to look at the last year's wrap-up and kind of average it out there. But it says here, take a look at where you spent most of your gaming time this year and find out what kind of gamer you were in 2022. It says here 810, but of those, 233 days dedicated to playing on the PlayStation system. That is not a shocker. That is actually relatively reasonable considering my schedule in terms of the entire year itself. You know, we've talked about this in the last video, but I do actually have a job that requires my attention. But there's also the factor that I don't just play PlayStation. I also been using an emulator to play other games as well. If you've attended to the streams that I have done, what with Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, as well as Kingdom Hearts Days, and currently that we're on right now, Kingdom Hearts Recoded. So it makes sense for the 233 days. That's still quite a lot of days, admittedly. And it says here, 0% of your total playtime was on PlayStation 5. Obviously, I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet, so of course 100% of my time is going to be on the PlayStation 4. That is a given. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is top games. In 2022, you played 28 games. Huh. I figured I played more than that. Oh well. So out of everything you played, which were the games you couldn't get enough of? Well, I can already tell by looking, but we're going to go ahead and go into it. So the first one right there is Elden Ring, most played this year. That is not a shocker, as I had predicted. It was either going to be Kingdom Hearts 1.5 or 2.5, or in this case Elden Ring, with a grand total of 257 hours, which was a sole dedicated 31% of my annual playtime. 31% of it was dedicated to Elden Ring. That is not a shocker. That makes perfect sense to me, especially since I have been just loving the heck out of the game. Honestly, if I was any more insane, I'd probably go back into it again and play another round of it. But obviously I have other games that I'm still needing to play as well, so I can't just dedicate a full time to one game and one game only, even though Kingdom Hearts is that other dedication right there, which is 194%. Keep in mind, this is including Kingdom Hearts 1 as well as Kingdom Hearts 2, and then whatever else I have been playing through, because technically I've also went back into Rechain of Memories in order to platinum the trophy in that one as well on my spare time. So it wasn't just 1 and 2 during the streams. I also went back and did Rechain of Memories for the platinum, because I hadn't platinumed any of the PlayStation 4 trophies, I noticed. So as I'm going through the series, I'm going to re-platinum them again. Now record, this doesn't include 2.8, because I platinumed that one, and Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously. This is just looking at 1.5 plus 2.5. So, 194 hours, not surprising, 23%. So that's pretty cool. But then we have the other 3 right here. Persona 5 Royal, which I have to say, whenever I played that one, that was actually a really good game. I did like that one. So 116 hours, that's actually surprised that I've had that many hours playing into that. Then we have Yakuza 0, which was 63 hours. That was a really good one. And then we have Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, 45 hours. Feels longer than that. Oh well. So, that was pretty cool. And it says here, your favorite genre of 2022, role-playing games, RPGs. That is not surprising. That is not surprising. That is 100% true in terms of what games I played the most of. I mean, if you know me, it's either going to be JRPGs or RPGs in genuine. And if it ain't that, it's going to be hack and slash. But, for the most part, it's going to be the RPG genre. And of course, underneath there, we have 590 hours logged in, 6 games played of that genre, and then 156 trophies earned from that genre. So that's pretty interesting to know. So let's go ahead and take a look at trophies earned. And the number is 559 trophies. Not too awful bad. Again, I don't think that's an awful lot. Let's go ahead and take a look at platinum trophies. I entered at 11? Huh. I figured it was under 10. I entered at 11? Not bad. Not bad at all. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Obviously, the most is going to be the bronze trophies because they're the easiest ones to get. Next up is silver and then gold. Platinum, obviously, it requires you to beat the entirety of the game and require all trophies from that game. So it makes sense as to why you would need to have gotten all the trophies before you got into platinum. But that's pretty cool to see that I actually did get over 10. I don't know if I gotten more than my previous set. Obviously, I will put in the video stating how many I've had from last year compared to this year, so we'll definitely take a look at the summary there. But that's pretty cool to see that I've gotten 11 platinum trophies. Not bad at all. So let's see. Major trophy milestone. Here are some of your key trophy highlights from this year. So let's see. Fashion sense? Wait, what? Oh! Oh, it's looking at the very beginnings. 2009. That was whenever trophies were actually first introduced in the Sony lineup, back during the PlayStation 3 age. Wow, I didn't know that, huh? I didn't even think that it would count the very first trophy that I've earned. I didn't think it would put that in the record, but it did. And yes, Little Big Planet was actually the very first game that I played that actually had trophy support. At the time, Assassin's Creed, Metal Gear Solid 4, Uncharted didn't have trophy supports when they first came out. And then later on, as the PlayStation 3 continued to stay its lifespan, they updated the games to where they did have trophy supports. I don't know about Assassin's Creed, but I'm pretty sure that it should have. But Metal Gear Solid 4 and Uncharted definitely had the update to have had trophy supports. But the latest one, which was recently a couple of days ago, Lawnmower from Tunic. Now, record, I've earned a number of trophies since then, because I've been playing through Tunic a little bit recently. But, yeah, apparently December 9th was like the last one that kept record before it compiled them into a single file here, you know? Now, again, obviously, we're not going to get anything big under PlayStation Plus, but we will look at it and see if it says anything. Okay, so it's just basically telling you all the details of, like, you know, the top games. Are we actually being serious here? Top monthly games. Oh, top monthly. Okay. For a second there, I thought to myself, are we just losing our minds here? Are we just absolutely losing our minds? But no, it's like top monthly games. Okay, so, alright. For a second there, I thought we were going to have a sit down and talk for a moment, because it's like, I don't think that's true at the very least. I don't think that's true. Most popular games, that's not surprising. That is not surprising. Obviously, it's looking towards PlayStation subscriptions, which means obviously downloads only. So seeing Stray on there at the very top does not surprise me. It makes sense. Especially considering that for the longest time, there hasn't been a physical edition of Stray until recently. I finally got mine in some time ago. It took forever to finally get in, and my gosh. But for a while there, it had only been digital only, so to see it on the top does not surprise me. Spider-Man Miles Morales does not surprise me. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut specifically, what with the fact that it is recently updated and released this year, and then of course the PlayStation 5 version of it, so that's not surprising. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I've heard a couple people talk about this game. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. It has not intrigued me at the very slightest, but then again, I hadn't even played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag yet. That's like the next Assassin's Creed game that I'm wanting to play next. So there's that. And then, on a surprising note, Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm surprised that's even remotely on there. But it's looking at top downloads for the year probably, so that probably makes sense. Top classic games. I'm interested to see this. Mafia Definite Edition is at the top. Mafia Definite Edition. You know, that game does look interesting. I don't know nothing about it, but I wouldn't mind actually looking into that. So who knows? And maybe later on we'll probably look into it, probably this year. Who's to say? God of War 3 makes perfect sense. God of War 3 is an excellent game. Preferably I like the first one and the second one, but the third one, in terms of like magnitude, it makes sense. Especially considering the fact that God of War Ragnarok was coming out this year. I'm sure there's been a lot of people who wanted to look back into Kratos' history. From the older generation like myself, who has played Kratos since the PlayStation 2, and to the newer generation that didn't even know Kratos had an existence before this timeline. So to see people playing through the God of War franchise and playing through the series makes perfect sense. Interesting to see God of War 3 being downloaded the most. Especially considering the fact, if I'm not mistaken, because of PlayStation's Plus subscription service, it's only streamable. So it's not downloadable, it's streamable only. If I'm not mistaken. I may be completely wrong. Since this is God of War 3 Remastered, maybe they have a PS4 version of God of War 3 that I'm not aware of. Who's to say? It honestly would not surprise me, but it would surprise me if it's streamable only and not downloadable. That would be the shocker. To see next, though, was Toy Story 2. I'm actually surprised to see that right under God of War 3. That's... Huh. Is there a Toy Story? Well, there is Lightyear, so that's possibly the reason why. I still need to watch that film. I know some people have mixed opinions about that film, but I want to see that. I do. Lego Harry Potter collection? I'm surprised to see a Lego game. Much less anything aside from Star Wars. So to see a Harry Potter Lego game pop up, that's very surprising. Huh. I wonder if that's good. I've got it, I just hadn't played it yet. And then Tekken 2. I wonder why. Was it because of the newly released Tekken game that just came out? That might be it. I'm not sure. Well, obviously, this isn't based on my feedback. This is based on the overall scope of the PlayStation Plus subscription service thing. So, it's interesting to kind of see that. But, either way, it was really cool. So there we are. We see the entirety. We see this little card here. I do kind of like that card thing. That's pretty cool to see. See how you scored annually highlight? So that's pretty cool. We get the whole detail and everything like that. Obviously, 0 PlayStation Plus games, because again, I don't have a PlayStation Plus subscription. But it is cool kind of to see the overall averaging out that it's been having over through the year and everything like that. I actually kind of like this. This actually was a little bit more simplistic to get to compared to last year. Last year was interesting, but this year was actually a little bit more easier to manage and stuff. So I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So anyway, guys, that was the PlayStation wrap-up video for 2022. I'm surprised by a lot of stuff. Other stuff I was not so surprised, mostly because it makes sense. So it was very interesting. I love doing these things. I do love looking at these videos and actually seeing how I've done over the past couple years in terms of gaming and stuff. Some years are better, some years are not so good. But since we're on the topic of talking about 2022 wrap up and everything like that, what are my overall goals to see for next year? I imagine I'm still probably going to be doing at the very least 10 platinum trophies a year. If I can get that quota, I'd be surprised. But I imagine, depending on how next year's going to be, it probably won't be that high this time around. But who's to say? Who knows? Maybe I might be lying to myself and say, hey, I was able to get in an extra 8 platinum trophies without even looking. Who's to say, really? But yeah, that was really cool. I like that. But thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. This is BlackCross signing off. Catch you guys later.